Former military staff, what is the most valuable lesson you got during basic training? Story number 1. Volunteer for stuff. I know many will say, don't volunteer, however, you will gain experience, meet people, and usually get out from under the DS control for a few hours. Sometimes you get perks, like access to things, soda, candy, phone back in my day. Admit to mistakes, take responsibility. No excuses, this goes a long way to earning respect. Not boot camp, but in OCS, I once asked for alternate punishment for something. The original and usual punishment was to write an essay about something. There was no time except sleep time, so I went to the TAC officer and asked if I could have alternate punishment, since I felt I would not be able to meet the expectations of the essay. The TAC officer told me to do 10 push-ups. He then said that I was first to make this ask, and he respected that I identified an unrealistic expectation and had the guts to ask. Lesson: if it's unreasonable, ask for help, alternatives. Story number 2. About 2 weeks before graduation, the senior drill instructor, USMC, gave us some words of wisdom I followed in the decades since. When you go someplace new, don't immediately hang out with the first people who approach you to hang out with. Those tend to be the shitbirds looking for someone else to cause trouble with. Wait a few weeks and then the people worth hanging out with will approach you. If you're in a leadership position, observe for 2 weeks before suggesting any changes that could upset the workflow. Learn the requirements to get promoted to the next rank. The day after you get promoted, start working on your next promotion. A bit harder in the corporate world where the rules aren't as well defined. Open a savings account. Start saving 10% of every paycheck. Every time you get a pay raise or promotion, save half and keep half. You're already used to living on a smaller amount, so the half you keep will still be a bonus. The senior day was FIRE long before it was even a concept. Story number 3. Just when you think you are at your breaking point and you can't do it, that's when you either pack up and go home or you summon the strength to carry on and get through it. I remember one particular night, we had a hard week of training, had been out for about 3 days straight on exercise. The previous night, none of us had slept again due to a night attack. I was sat in my dugout on watch, thinking about what I would say the next day to get out and go home. Then I thought about having to say to my friends and family that yes, you were right, I couldn't do it, I wasn't strong enough. That's the moment that changed my life forever. I somehow managed to find the strength to finish basic training so I didn't have to go back and prove them all right. Because of this, my self-confidence more than doubled and I wouldn't have my job, house or wife without that moment. Story number 4. Try as hard as possible not to add your own interpretation or assumptions to instructions. Do exactly as you're told, nothing more, nothing less. If you don't agree with the group on how to proceed on a task but you're in the minority, air your disagreement once and join the group. Best case scenario, everything works out and you didn't make an ass of yourself. Worst case scenario, if things go tits up and you weren't a dick about being right, people may consider your opinion more next time. Leadership is not a position, it is a mindset. Support your bunk shipmates however you can and they will come to do the same for you. Succeed as a team and fail as a team is something your instructors will beat into you. If it's the last thing they do, embrace it early and try to bring people together. The sooner you start gelling, the sooner your life gets easier. Story number 5. The guy next to you can make your life hard by fucking up. Had a series of battle buddies that were verified shit pumps during BMQ. I remember that if my partner was all fucked up for inspection, it fell on his head first, then trickled down onto me for allowing him to be all fucked up. And boy howdy was he all fucked up constantly. I had to set up his bunk for the next day a couple of times because he'd fuck off to God knows where. My faith in God was restored when he swiped out of our platoon. The next guy couldn't march, couldn't do weapon drills. I spent most of my time couching him to no avail. Again dribbled onto my head that he was fucked up. Because I wasn't trying hard enough, he was pulled out because he failed the drill and weapon tests. Next guy was better, fully self-sufficient. He had a mouth on him. His fuck-ups didn't fall on me directly, but I was often near enough to get caught in the crossfire when he mouthed off. He broke his arm in one of the strangest incidents I've ever seen and got pulled out to recover. The next guy had a thing about drinking water and often got overwhelmed before inspection. I'd pick up the pieces and get him set and he'd be fine, good kid. But he scared the shit out of me one time when he just keeled the fuck over. He passed out cause he hadn't drank any water for like 48 hours. I caught flack for not keeping a good eye on him. He got moved to another section, so he wasn't my battle buddy anymore. The last guy was the most solid guy I'd ever worked with. I got put on with him at the start of the field portion of training. He was made the course senior platoon leader, which made me second in command for the whole field portion. I never once had an incident with him. It was instead my turn as fuck up. I made a series of mistakes that end with me getting pulled out of the platoon after a bad case of heat stroke. Every single person I just mentioned I had a really good relationship with during training. Everyone fucks up at a roulette wheel and everyone gets it at least once. Story number 6. Basic didn't teach me many things, but my NCOs sure did. Always document all of your medical issues. If you're sick, go to the doctor. Did you hurt yourself? Off to the doctor with you. Hearing some ringing, get that in your medical records. When you fuck up, not F but one, hold your head up and tell them you fucked up, and there is no real excuse for your actions. The best thing you can do is own your mistake and wake up each day trying to put your best foot forward. Leadership will remember how you chose to right your wrongs, how you made a conscious effort to be better. We all fail, that's life, but when you fail, make sure you fail forward. Do not stop working out. Is it Saturday and you want to drink some beer and fuck about? Take your ass to the gym first. This one piece of advice will serve you well while you remain a part of the military machine. Get out of your comfort zone, look at the smartest guy in the room, look at the most knowledgeable person in your shop, and try your best to learn from them. Look for a mentor that can teach. When you have people, or you're in a leadership role, they come before you, is that too hungry, send them to lunch and pick up their work. You better make sure every one of your guys are fed before you sit down to eat. When you get the opportunity, you cut back your hard workers and go job while they enjoy their well-earned downtime. If you find yourself as an E5, 6, 7s doing cutbacks and leaving a E4 in charge, you're a worthless piece of shit. Only do what your stripes and career can handle. Do not fucking drink and drive. I cannot stress this enough. There's so many options out there to get back safe, so you better not drive drunk. Always err on the side of caution when it comes to drinking and driving. Do not work yourself into an early grave for someone because they'll PCS and be replaced by a new person that wants the same thing from you. Take care of yourself and your family. They're the ones that are there for you through ups and downs. When you're at base and you think it's shit, go explore and see the world. You don't get cool stories by sitting inside playing games and complaining about nothing to do.